All right, so you're wondering, who is that? That's that boy.
Lekon. Not Lekon, not Lekon.
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 We'll come to that one later. Well, right now we want to talk about something, of course, which you just saw now, Tribe Naija app. And for that conversation, we have the convener Advocacy for One Nigeria Initiative, Mr. Kola Abiola. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
First of all, what gave birth to this?
I started this like 12 years back and put pen to paper 10 years afterwards. And the whole idea there was like, we went from what I felt was a perfect situation, perfect election, and we have gone to totally imperfect. And I felt the way things were going, we were losing ourselves within our ethnic groups, our differences, and our diversity is being used against ourselves. So I felt it started off as Tribe Naija 10 years back, and then over time it evolved to Tribe Naija. And 2.5 years ago, we started working on the app, and we're here today.
You know, it's interesting. I'm sorry. I had a conversation one of these days here on this program, and someone, you were here, someone dichotomized between Nigeria and Niger.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
For good reason, yes. When we started, it was Tribe Nigeria, because that was Nigeria then.
Oh, it metamorphosed into Tribe Naija.
Now, that's because what we found out over time is that the youth have developed an ecosystem called Niger. So it's they're Nigerian, but they try to coexist outside of Nigeria, which I think is totally impossible.
In a place called Niger.
In Nigeria.
Which is virtual.
Virtual. So in that environment, in that ecosystem, they don't know the differences. They know themselves, and as long as they can work with themselves. And that ecosystem is 70% of the population. So we felt, let's speak to them directly, let's adopt their language and try to appeal and see them to the need to come together to save the country as a whole.
Okay, naturally, the next question is, so what is Tribe Naija?
Tribe Naija is a social platform that is designed to bring as many of our youth as possible together, to discuss our differences, discuss our issues, and hopefully along the line come up with our own solutions.
So that's our local Facebook kind of thing?
I'm not sure it's actually a Facebook as such. But it's an avenue to let us begin to bring that 70% of our 18s to 35s together and see that they can make a difference collectively. It's an avenue for us to begin to see that we may be from different parts of the country, facing different issues, but we have one common thread, Nigeria. And at the end of the day, it's all about leadership that's lacking. So let's see what we can do to change that.
So, since this application is targeted at raising conversations around a diverse range of issues, I'm wondering how you intend to galvanize or aggregate thoughts and recommendations to improve public governance.
I think first we have to speak. Everybody has to know that we understand and we see the same problems. We see them from different perspectives, but the problems are still the same. And in doing that, we can collectively, hopefully, get to critical mass, to a point where we think we can collectively come together under one umbrella and turn the democratic process on its head. I'm hoping with this, we will be able to at least cut our skin in the game, get involved. And with our numbers, and you know that your neighbor next door is also part of this discussion, we will come together and form a community, and that community, I believe, will make a change politically going forward. It'll help tremendously to do that.
Engaging people with it is definitely a consideration going back by all of that conversation. But then, how do we begin that?
We've started that already. We have over 10,000 on the app today. With time, we would understand that it's not an e-commerce platform. With time, we will understand that it's an avenue to chat and discuss issues. With time, I think we're beginning to understand that we need to drop. It's not an app that you follow each other. We chat around the issues. That's what it's all about. We chat around the issues. Hopefully from that, we will begin to create leadership also. From that, the AI would track everybody's participation. And hopefully, the more you participate, the more you get brownie points. You will go from bronze to silver to gold to diamond. And at that point, you'll have your own platform, and you can moderate your own discussions. So we hope with that also, amongst us, we would begin to develop the next crop of leaders, politically and otherwise. Yeah.
This is interesting. Okay, now let me try to paint this. You know that recently the federal government, did something with Twitter.
Yeah.
Stakeholders in the polity have been calling for regulation of the social media space in view of what they consider, or rather what is considered, serious threat to Nigeria's sovereignty and security. So, talking about this app, don't you think this could elevate some of the fears that the concerned stakeholders expressed?
I don't think so. I think the more we can discuss, the more the freedom to speak, the more the differences can be bridged. That's one. Two, a country our size, with the economic powers we have, the country our size, with the intellectual capacity we have, domestically and in the diaspora, should really have alternatives to every social media platform. There's, even as a national security issue, we should have alternatives to Twitter, alternatives to Facebook, Instagram, all that. Countries our size, not even our size, and countries that have as much intellect as we have alternatives to that. So in the day that you think you shut down Twitter, what are alternatives? So I don't think they should see it as a threat to national security. It should be part of the national security policy to have alternatives to that. And mind you, like I told you, I've been at this for a while. It didn't just pop up because Twitter was banned. We have been at this, developing this app 2.5 years in total to launch. We just so happened to decide we're going to launch it June 12th, and at that point, Twitter was banned, but it had nothing to do with it. We just believe we should have our own homegrown platforms, and this is probably one of those. Yeah.
Okay. How do you intend to self-regulate?
Oh, good point.
So that your users do not broach certain guidelines that may get the app into trouble. And so it becomes like what's happened to Twitter.
Yeah, it's a very good point. It's a couple. There's the national bit, the government bit. It's sensitivity to participation and participants on the one hand, because there's some things. We're a very diverse country, and some sensibilities have to be accommodated. So the AI is built into that. The AI will pick up, artificial intelligence designed into the app will pick up all these things, and we will not necessarily censor, but will regulate and pick those things up.
Content.
And
delete if it is
it will
found
warn you
to
first. It will warn you. You will get a warning from the administration, and then if it continues, you'll be deleted and banned from the thing.
No, I'm not talking about the content itself.
Yeah,
will be deleted.
Will be deleted. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. So we built that into the design. And we cater for all sensitivities also at the same time. We want a forum that allows us to express. We're not there to pick on, and that's why we don't there's no follow people or pick people to chat with. No, we don't allow that on this platform. We center all our discussions around issues and solutions.
The question anyone else would want to ask is, Twitter algorithm is understood. You follow me, I follow you. We have X number of followers, which some people, which have raised the profile of some people to what they call social influencers or social media influencers, and so which they convert into money and all of that. So, if that's not possible on Tribe Naija, then what's the advantage?
Well, everything in technology, you never know where it ends to start with.
Okay.
You have a great idea, you start, and then at some point it'll have a life of its own. You may end up in e-commerce, you may end up in so many things from an original idea. But to focus and get the rules right from day one, I think is very important now, especially in the age with what happens with Facebook and Twitter. They can even ban a president, not just Nigeria, but even take Donald Trump off their platforms. So in our own case, let's learn from that and then use that as making sure that we get the principles right from day one, and that's what we're trying to achieve here.
Perhaps the challenge.
But also, we find out that a lot of your influencers, so to speak, and I don't know how best to say this, have become toxic over the years for the very same reason that it's become a business. So we're trying to also hopefully create fresh people, sort of like what we did in Concord in those days. We took unknown names, gave them an opportunity, and they're all the names in publishing and journalism today. So we want to develop a fresh set of people, bring them into there and let them showcase themselves and hopefully be leaders also at the same time. So that's one of the things we're trying to do here.
You had planned to launch on June 12th,
right,
before what came about
right,
came about. Didn't you develop cold feet when that happened?
No. I'm one never to listen to the noise. I just stick to the objective. The worst would happen that they would shut us down that day, but I wasn't bothered about it. Because if you remember, that same day there was a planned protest, nationwide protest.
Yeah.
I tend to not take advantage. I just stick to my roadmap, and
so it's been launched now?
Yeah, it's launched. We launched it on June 12th at the Yaradua Center.
Okay.
And like I said, to date we have about like 10,000 plus on subscribers. It was 2 weeks now, third week now. We've had over 1 million browsers already on the platform, and it's not quite doing the purpose yet because everybody sees it as an alternative. So we have a lot of people trying to e-trade or e-commerce, but with time we're going to deal with that. But more and more of us are beginning to understand that, look, this is a platform to discuss.
Okay, so what is the impetus for people to join? What's the age that
it offers?
Tribe Naija is offering? Tribe Naija largely says it's for Nigerians.
Yes,
or no, it's for Naija people. Okay. Perhaps the same way as the voice of Cool, as Cool, K-O-O, is the voice of India.
Yes.
An app, also, which I understand the federal government even is on now. So what's the cutting edge for this one? For
look.
Nigerians?
With me involved, everything is political, I guess. So,
exactly.
Because I know that's where you're getting at.
Well, not necessarily. Not necessarily.
So,
because the reason, let me just make this clear. The reason is, you talked about the commercial edge for those who used Twitter to, to commercialize and earn some profit and all of that. So that's the angle from which I'm speaking, because some people would say, okay, I have X number of apps on my phone. Why should I add Tribe Naija to my...
I'm not saying that we wouldn't get to e-commerce and we won't get to all these things. The app is designed to be able to do all those things.
Okay.
But initially, the whole idea, with the present state of security in the country, this present hopelessness amongst our youth, the original initial objective is to get us to talk and understand ourselves and bring as many of us as possible on the platform to begin to understand that we do have a lot more power than we think. Like we were talking about Big Brother earlier on, 20 million voters, youth, 18 to 35, spent 5 billion or so voting. I mean, if you put that to things that could Nigeria that could change your life, it's an enormous amount of power we have. And I'm hoping with this, I will bring a lot of us together. A lot of us, our kids, junior ones, our brothers, to this point. And then any dynamic progressive out there to the middle, and then we hopefully channel that to changing politics in Nigeria. We have to turn the system on its head. We have to disrupt the whole political system, and I'm hoping we can even achieve this with that.
So we just go to the App Store?
No, if you're on Android, you go to Google Play
Store.
If it's iOS, you go to the App Store, you download, you get an OTP, data.
Okay, there it is on the screen.
Right. Okay. So that's it. So it's pretty simple.
Okay.
And then we'll start to discuss.
Okay, so
going back to what you were saying now.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not about. It is about politics in a way, because it's going to end up being about politics in a way, because I'm trying to mobilize. You see, like I explained yesterday, there are three sets of voters I see. They're the semi-literate, they're the guys like the NSAS guys who want to see change, desperately want to see change, but don't see how best to achieve that. And there are the skeptics on the side that say, look, nothing good will come out of Nigeria. Any politician that comes is a means to an end. So totally giving up, they're not interested. Now those guys in the middle there, who took those stands, and there's so many of us in this country, want to really see change, but they don't know how to get to that change. I'm hoping with this app, we can show them how to get that change. I have been there before, 79 under NPN. I ran the election, a big part of it, SDP for my father's election. I have been gone through what they have gone through then. I've been failed by the system because we ran a perfect election where I was cancelled. I was prosecuted. I had SSS people raid my house. I was incarcerated. So I've been there. I understand. I've learned from the very best then. Very, very best. The General Shehu and all those people. So I want to bring that knowledge and bring it to the new age and use technology. We used a bit of technology back then, which was archaic today compared to what we have today. Let me put all that together and let me use that to take them not so much to the promised land, but at least begin to do that and get that change done. If we come together and do this effectively, we can elect 35%, if not 40% of all elective offices in this country off this platform. I know that for sure, because I've been through it. With this, we can drop entry point, the barriers to entry. We can drastically cut the cost of participation and let people who really genuinely want to make a change have an opportunity to do it.
How can this cut the cost of participation?
Oh yeah, drastically, because what it has, if you have 20 million, 30 million on that platform that decide to come together politically, all you have to do is from the tribe, you will know how many people you have in your local government. If you're running for local government chairman, you will know where to start. And the data you get from us will tell you exactly what you need to do and how you have to concentrate. It won't cost you a penny to buy forms. It won't cost you a penny to... You see, the biggest fraud in the whole political process is the delegate elections. I know that because I've been there before. You don't have delegates. Your people, the guys themselves will vote for you. And if they're voting for you, they will vote for you at the election itself. At least 70% of them should. That's what it's all about. You just have to... I've been there. And I would use this system to show you there's a simpler way of doing it. You want to campaign in your local government, you don't have to pay any person million naira to mobilize. To do what? You have your guys on your platform, speak to them, they'll be there waiting for you. It saves you money. So
listening to you right now, and that's perhaps why the NSAS people, for instance, said, look, we don't have a leader. Some would probably say, okay, this man also has a political agenda, and maybe he just wants to use us to mobilize. And you said it earlier yourself that everything about you, because of your name.
Yeah, because the system has been so brutalized and traumatized.
So there is a lot of distrust already, and that's also, likely to play out. So how do you delineate?
What I'm doing now is not, if it was just for Kola to be president.
And by the way, is that also in the plan somewhere?
It's not in the plans, but like I said, everything is political. So Let's see how it works out. It's not the objective, definitely not the objective. But
well,
just for
the only thing constant in life is change. So you might change your mind tomorrow.
It's not about me changing my mind. I've had opportunities to change my mind. I never do. Like I told you, I stick to my script. I really do. And everything has to be logical to me. Unfortunately, I'm not sentimental in many ways. I just stick to the logic. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense.
Okay, so, now, I mean, now that we're talking about this, you know very well that leadership recruitment process in the country has always been a challenge.
Absolutely.
So with 2023 right in our faces, how do you think what should be the role of the citizens to ensure, not just to vote, but to ensure the right options of people to vote for? Because sometimes people just don't have a choice.
Assuming that the right options come up.
Yeah, that's where I was going. Over the years, right, we've always been stuck with a system that just gives us two options. A friend of mine just this morning said how did he put it? It's picking between a herdsman and a Fulani. They're the same thing. I don't understand. You put it like that, so very crudely, but that's the point. Look, we are forced always to pick the best of the worst.
Well, you know that they are different, right, in terms of...
Yeah, probably. But glucose D and glucose D are just about the same things. Are the same things. Like my dad would say. What? But you see, we should stop being forced to pick the best of the worst. Okay? And I'm hoping with this, like I said, we will create leadership. And if you create leadership, let new people get into the system and be able to be elected. I'm hoping with this I'll do that. And that's my objective, really. It's not good enough to just have the right person as president and then you forget about all the other offices. How do you rule? If you have a good person there, you have the president, or somewhat of the president in both houses, how do you make anything achievable? Let's get as much of us that will want that change. Sort of like what happened in France with Macron's election. Obama to some extent, but more Macron this last election. Totally new faces in leadership. Okay. And that's, I believe, we can achieve this time around.
All right. I think it was we have to wrap up in a few seconds, but do you see any significance to the fact that June 12th is now recognized by the federal government as Democracy Day?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Go on.
Oh, yeah. For me, it puts... That chapter is closed. Because I fought so hard for that recognition. I got the recognition. I wanted the June 12th, I did GCFR for my dad. I tried to get other governments to see they didn't understand it. Surprisingly, I never thought it would take this long to achieve, but it did. I wanted June 12th changed from May 29th to June 12th. I got that. And then we got a bonus, in a way. Not so much an apology to the family, but apology to everybody who voted for that election because they were robbed. So for me, that puts paid to that job. Okay. And the next thing I'm trying to do is what I'm doing now from there. That's why I haven't been minister or anything like that, because I didn't want to get involved till that recognition was done.
Okay.
So.
Well, we can only wish you well.
Thank you.
And trust that hopefully very soon we'll be back here to have another conversation. Maybe when you hit the 10 million.
No, we're out there to 30 million for sure.
Okay. All right.
And that's the target.
That's the target.
Okay. So.
Anyway.
Oh, by the way, Nigerians in diaspora.
Oh yeah, they're fully involved.
Okay.
Yeah, because we will have a discussion topic for Nigeria Yonder.
Oh wow.
On the app.
Nigeria Yonder.
We're on the app.
Nigeria Yonder.
Well, we have to thank you very much for being a part of this conversation. Kola Abiola is convener advocacy for One Nigeria Initiative. Thank you so much for your time, and we wish you well.
Thank you. God bless.
All right, if you can hear that music, it is